Today on Forbes, meet the Japanese noodle billionaire taking on McDonald's and KFC. When Takaya Awata used his meager savings to open a small restaurant in Kakogawa, a coastal city off Japan's Seto Inland Sea, the then 23-year-old named it Toridoll Sanban-kan, or Toridoll Store Number 3. It was a promise to himself that stores number 1 and 2 were only a matter of time, and he would soon achieve his modest goal of owning 3 restaurants. 4 decades later, Awata's Tokyo-listed Toridoll Holdings has a network of nearly 2,000 quick-service restaurants across 28 countries and regions, covering 21 brands. The flagship is Marugame Seimen, Japan's largest udon noodle chain by both revenue and store count. The entrepreneur's fast food success has made him a billionaire and honed his ambitions. At his headquarters in Tokyo's Shibuya district, the 62-year-old president and CEO says, quote, "I would like Toridoll to compete on a global scale." He adds that he's aspiring to make it a 1 trillion Japanese yen, or $7 billion, company by revenue in the next decade. To achieve those lofty targets, Awata wants to reduce Toridoll's dependence on domestic diners in a shrinking home market and focus on overseas expansion. The global quick-service restaurant industry grew at a compound annual growth rate of 5% between 2019 and 2023 to more than $1 trillion, the fastest-growing sector among the overall food service market. This, according to an email from Tommaso Nastasi, a Milan-based partner at consulting firm Deloitte. But in Japan, which is facing the challenges of a graying population, fewer full-time jobs, and stagnant wages, restaurant operators must also grapple with rising costs and worker shortages. Japan's food business is intensely competitive, Awata notes. To grow domestically would mean snatching market share from rivals such as Hanamaru, the local udon chain owned by the more than century-old beef bowl giant Yoshinoya Holdings, and Tokyo-listed Zensho Holdings, best known for its affordable Sukiya beef bowl chain, founded by fellow billionaire Kentaro Ogawa. Toridoll also has to contend with American juggernauts such as McDonald's and KFC, which between them operate over 4,000 stores in Japan. The competition for diners comes not only from other restaurants, but also convenience stores' bento box lunches and rice balls, as well as supermarkets' ready-to-eat meals, according to Tokyo-based Daiwa Securities analyst Shun Igarashi. He says, quote, "With the diversification in eating trends, companies are scrambling to get customers." Despite this, Toridoll, buoyed partly by an influx of tourists into Japan, posted record revenue of 232 billion yen in the latest fiscal year ended March, with 38% generated from overseas. Net profit was up 48% to 5.7 billion yen, helped by a weak yen that bolstered repatriated profits from overseas branches. But Toridoll's shares, which had been trading at high earnings multiples after the pandemic as people resumed dining out, corrected 5% in the past 12 months. Awata, who became a billionaire last year and earned a place in the ranks of Japan's 50 richest, has a recent net worth of $1.1 billion. By March 2028, Toridoll targets a more than threefold increase in net profit on 420 billion yen in sales, of which nearly half would come from outside Japan. This can be achieved, Awata explains, by more than doubling the total store count to 4,900, of which 3,000 should be overseas branches. The company owns all but 4 of its nearly 1,100 domestic stores, while half of its 861 overseas shops are operated as franchises or joint ventures. Awata says he expects overseas revenue to be higher, closer to 60% in the next 3 to 5 years. Toridoll's flagship brand, known as Marugame Udon outside Japan, already has 264 stores abroad. Awata caters to local tastes, offering, for example, spicy broth in Indonesia and cold udon bowls with salad greens and fried chicken in the US. For full coverage, check out Zinnia Lee and James Sims's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.